we're a mess. We're an absolute mess. This country's a mess. It despises me to see some of the things that are happening. And I have discussions with some of my closest inner circle people of how do we get out of this? So much divisiveness and where we're at. And I'll never forget my good friend, Pastor David Jeremiah, said something to me a few years ago that was more powerful than anything that I have ever heard. And he said this at the time: my God is bigger than our governor or our president or anyone else. My God is bigger than our governor or our president, whoever that's going to be, or anything else. Moral of the story is this: when you put your faith in God and not the government, it's all going to work out. When you put your faith in God and not the government, it's all going to work, because when we get so darn political and we get carried away with all the politics and the stuff that's happening in our world, man, it is crazy. Can I get an amen? Anyone? Yeah, I heard y'all. Crazy. Why do I share this? Because it's a fact that the government affects the people, right? Many people rely on the government to take care of them. And we all know many of those people. I think this is a foolish act to rely on the government and taxes. We all have taxes. Of course, we have taxes. But many folks are reliant, or worse yet, expected to have the government take care of them. This is NG. This is not good. We don't want to be reliant on Uncle Sam to take care of us. That's not a good thing. So yes, TD, what's the solution? Leaders. We need more powerful leaders. Leaders, where are we at? It's time to step up. Leaders, where are you at? Where are we at? It's time to step up. I'm talking true leadership. Some are strong, good, and solid leaders who have our great nation at the forefront and not their own agenda. I must think there are some good young folks out there who can be some major impact leaders in our country. Anyone? Can we get an amen? Anyone out there today? I've got my man Brady and Trevor in the house listening in. Can I get an amen? Fellas. Amen. Yeah. Good. Yeah, we have a live audience today. You're like, wait, I thought you were by yourself. No, I got my man Brady and his great friend Trevor here in the house today on the pod, because we're looking for great leaders. So throughout America, all my young folks, we need to step up, because there's a great opportunity. Because whenever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. Let me repeat, whenever there's a problem, there's an opportunity. And all you old folks, people like me, there's an opportunity for great leaders to step up. And when I say, where are they? It's time to step up. I actually think there are great leaders out there. And I know for a fact that we have some great people. Many, or most, don't want to go through the meat grinder of having their life exposed publicly of something they did that was dumb, maybe when they were in their 20s or when they were young in their career in their 30s. So they choose to play it safe and not run for office. Well, it is what it is, but it's time. It's time. I'm not sure who this next rising star is, or who that star is right now that's going to step into politics or step into the government or step into our country and do something about it. But they're out there, and it needs to happen the next 2 to 3 years, or we are sunk. We're sunk. That's about as political as I'm going to get here on the Impact Show. But I'm going to say this. I believe in our country. I believe in our people. And I believe in you. And I believe in myself, that when we have our minds right and we have our hearts and souls right, and we're following God, not our governor, our God, and being guided by that, and we do that, then great things are going to happen. So one is the country, the politics of the country, and two is the people. People today, we have some jacked up people. Can I get an amen to that? We have some jacked up people. Again, I told you this show today was about as political as I'm ever going to get. And I've done 358 shows. And this is going to be as controversial as I've had. But it's crucial, because you all keep asking, where do you stand with this? And I think as a society, We would rather find fault or what's wrong or past dumb stuff someone's done, and they hang their hat on that of some stupid thing they did 30 years ago than account for the works, leadership, vision, and character someone has today. And I ask myself, why is that? Why? Why do we constantly berate people and put them down and find wrong or fault with people of something that happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago? Why do our minds want to be bottom dwellers and gutter hangers? Not good. And I believe that we got to rise above. All of us, we got to rise above this. You're like, oh yeah, TD, you're on the holy grail. And hey, listen, this is something to me that for us, our people, you and me alike, we got to acknowledge it, and we got to rise above. It's easy to get fallen down to the quagmire and sit at the bottom of the mud puddle and sling it. Hey, you're like, maybe I'm jacked up. Maybe you're jacked up. Listen, you're going to hear in True Strength coming out in June. I was jacked up. Anyone else jacked up today? Physically, mentally, or jacked up? I share it all. I unbear it all. I am not a Pollyanna that's going to be like, hey, everything is all good. I want to say that we're going to acknowledge it. We're going to attack it. And as men and women of this country and of this world, it's time to do something about it. I share it all in True Strength. You're going to get it all in True Strength. But I was jacked up physically. And when you're jacked up physically, you're jacked up mentally. When that's the case, when I say you got to get your mind right, you got to get your mind right. And if you're jacked up right now, can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you're jacked up physically, how the heck you got to battle it every day to get your mind right? I believe that we all got something. My man, Dave Sider, right? Sider, man I coach, and a very successful attorney. He said, we all got something, TD. I'm like, you better believe we all got something. Today, I'm talking about people who are, people who are reacting to everything that the government says to do. Puppets. Wanting the government to provide them with subsidies, relief, paychecks, housing, citizenship. Not good. People who are reacting. Let's not be puppets, my friends. Let's not be a puppet of whatever the government says. We just act and do whatever they say. Number two, the people who are spending all their time doing nothing, watching TV, CNN, or Fox, becoming more and more divisive as our whole country is more and more divisive and more opinionated. I mean, whatever happened to the good old days when a Republican and a Democrat could argue and then sit down and have a coffee and a meal together? Whatever happened to those days? They're far gone. But man, I think today's party leaders would never be caught dead in church together, let alone breaking bread together. Could you imagine that? How do we get back to some good old core values? Number three, people who want and wait for the world to come to them. Success is not going to come in the form of a governmental check. You got to hustle. You got to work. It doesn't matter if you're 20, you're 50, you're 75. You got to get out there and create your own future and not rely on anyone else. Can you hear me? Can you feel me?